Prime Minister says goods and services tax is not bad. 18 human trafficking victims rescued. Hi, I'm Sohaila Saifuddin and this is Cuppa News. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak says goods and services tax or GST proves that such a tax is not bad, as even oil-producing Saudi Arabia also plans to introduce the tax. Najib said this information was gleaned from several Saudi Arabian cabinet ministers in the entourage of Saudi Arabia's King Salman Abdul Aziz Al Saud, who is on a 4-day state visit to Malaysia from Sunday.
Kerajaan Arab Saudi akan perkenalkan GST tidak lama lagi. Maknanya kita ni bukanlah langkah yang salah. Kalau kerajaan Arab Saudi yang kaya dengan minyak pun perkenalkan GST, maka tentu ada sebab munasabah GST diperkenalkan. Yang ketiga, saya nak beritahu bahawa harga minyak di Arab Saudi dah naik 50%. Kita ni riuh rendah kalau naik 10-20 sen, tapi di Arab Saudi dah naik 50%.
Najib reminded the public against confusing the people over the measures implemented by the government, because every move made by the government is intended for the benefit of the people in short and long term. In another news, the Prime Minister's press secretary has hit out at Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad over his statement that Malaysia is one of the 10 most corrupt countries in the world. Datuk Seri Tengku Sarifuddin has rubbished the former Prime Minister's claim, saying the old tiger made the statement for political gain. He says, quote, "In reality, in the latest listing by Transparency International, Malaysia is the 55th least corrupt country in the world. Clearly, either Dr. Mahathir is lying or he is no longer able to differentiate between fact and fiction," unquote. He said Dr. Mahathir now associates with those he had previously been hostile with and that Malaysians should not believe him. Tengku Sarifuddin says Dr. Mahathir's statements are embarrassing. Either he is lying for political gain or he is senile, as stated by His Royal Highness the Sultan of Johor. More than 10,000 people from at least 15 longhouses, as well as students from a school in the interior Baram district in northern Sarawak, have been cut off due to floods. Over the past 24 hours, heavy rains have inundated the settlements, resulting in metre-deep waters. Telang Ustan Assemblyman Dennis Ngau visited the flooded areas to check on the relief aid supplies. The students of Sekolah Kebangsaan Subang have been evacuated to the nearest longhouse, and their school is currently closed as the flood waters will likely to reach the roof of the school building. Ngau has issued an alert for help from the state and federal authorities. 18 people, including 5 children, were rescued from Kampung Tasik in Pengkalan Hulu, Perak on Sunday following a tip-off by an informant. They were believed to be victims of human trafficking. Police were informed that a couple trafficked and exploited the human trafficking victims to manage a palm oil estate run their company Ladang Koperasi Kelapa Sawit Sendirian Berhad. A couple has been arrested and are currently remanded for 6 days. One of the victims said he started work at the estate 2 years ago with his wife and 2 children. He claims they work for 12 hours every day and his children had to carry palm oil fruits. The victims were promised a good salary, but instead they were forced to live in deplorable conditions. Police said only 4-wheel drive vehicles were allowed into the estate, and this made the villagers oblivious to what was happening. The victims are now at different shelter homes in Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Johor and Selangor. A man who was on the death row for drug trafficking in 2009 has received a second chance at life after Selangor ruler Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah granted him a pardon. Syahrul Izzani Suparman and his family were informed of the pardon last week at the Sungai Buloh prison. His mother, Sapinah Nawawi, who had been working together with Amnesty International Malaysia to save his life, said she was thankful that her son got a second chance.
Akan syukur alhamdulillah kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala yang telah menyelamatkan saya dari hukuman gantung. Jadi kita ini memang amat gembiralah bagi saya dan keluarga kerana saya telah mendapat, anak saya telah mendapat keampunan dari Sultan Selangor yang dapat mengampunkan anak saya terlepas daripada hukuman ini. Dia memang ucap terima kasih, dia gembiralah, syukur atas kurnianya semua. Memang dia terperanjatlah sebab dijangka, dia ingat dia takkanlah terlepas daripada itu kan. Tapi dia memang mengucapkan banyak-banyak terima kasih atas segalanya.
In 2003, Syahrul Izzani, who was 19 then, was arrested during a routine roadblock and found 622 grams of cannabis in his possession. In December 2009, he was convicted by the Shah Alam High Court for drug trafficking, an offence that carried the mandatory death sentence. Amnesty International Malaysia took up Syahrul's case, collecting more than 10,000 signatures worldwide in an appeal campaign that began in 2005. Its executive director, Shamini Darshini, said that while this battle was won, she hopes that the federal government will abolish the mandatory death penalty as a first step towards total abolition. A pressure cooker bomb exploded in the courtyard of a government building in Bandung, West Java, followed by an exchange of gunfire between police with an attacker. One suspect died after he was shot by the police, while the second suspect, a woman, is still on the run. Authorities said no hostage situation or injuries were reported and that the situation is now under control. Police believe the motive for the attack was to force the release of prisoners held by the police anti-terror unit. The 89th Academy Awards will likely be remembered for a bizarre mix-up where La La Land were presented the Best Picture Oscar instead of the actual winner, Moonlight. The award was presented by Bonnie and Clyde stars Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway.
La La Land.
While the La La Land cast was on stage hugging one another, producer Jordan Horowitz stopped short and announced that Moonlight had won instead.
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
Personally, I blame Steve Harvey for this. I would like to see you get an Oscar anyway. Why can't we just give out a whole bunch of them?
I'm gonna be
Warren, what did you do?
I want to tell you what happened. I opened the envelope and it said, Emma Stone, La La Land. That's why I took such a long look at Faye and at you. I wasn't trying to be funny.
Director Barry Jenkins, however, expressed his gratitude towards the La La Land team.
And it is true, it's not fake. We've been on the road with these guys for so long, and that was so gracious and so generous of them. My love to La La Land, my love to everybody. You know, there was a time when I thought this movie was impossible because I couldn't bring it to fruition. I couldn't bring myself to tell another story. And so everybody behind me on the stage said, no, that is not acceptable. So I just want to thank everybody up here behind me, everybody out there in that room, because we didn't do this, you guys chose us. Thank you for the choice, I appreciate it.
Moonlight took home 3 Oscars, including Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor. La La Land won 6 Oscars, including Best Director, Best Original Score and Best Song. The film had 40 nominations, tied for the most ever. Emma Stone won the Best Actress for La La Land, while Casey Affleck won Best Actor for Manchester by the Sea. China has released the first batch of images and data captured by the Fengyun 4 weather satellite in geostationary orbit on Monday. The released images and data are from the satellite radiometer, atmospheric detector, lightning imager and space environment monitor.
工程研制非常成功，4大有效载荷顺利开机，而且获得了首批数据，图像质量非常好， 因为标志着我们的风云4号卫星数据，应该说达到了预期成果，将具备了投入使用的条件，将在我国的减灾防灾、气候变化，以及在水利、农业以及在一些资源开发方面都得到广泛应用。
China launched the satellite on December last year. And that's a wrap for Cuppa News. Good night.